What's up everyone? I'm an American, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about my long gun. Long guns come in different forms. There's a few different types of long guns if you want to separate them into categories other than long gun. You kind of have like the long range guns, the what I like to call civilian fighting rifles like the ARs and the AKs, and then you have a shotgun, which is an underestimated long gun, which a lot of you people have, and you might think I don't have a long gun even though you do. So let's check out my long gun. This is a Remington 870 12 gauge shotgun. It has a bunch of little gadgets on it that I put on there, and spent too much money basically making it both functional and mostly awesome looking. What I have here started out as a shotgun that I inherited from my father. It was all had the black furniture on it, synthetic, and it had a 26-inch barrel, I believe, chambered for a 3.5-inch shell. I bought a new barrel. I chopped it down to 19 inches. I wanted a shotgun barrel with a vent rib on it, but I wanted the shorter barrel, which I could not find, so I chopped it myself. It's got a fiber optic front sight on it right now. It's got Magpul stock on it, which I highly recommend. It's an awesome get up. I've got a few extra rounds attached on the side. Anyways, I'm gonna put it on the old table and talk about some of the things more in depth, some of the uses of the gun, some of the pros and cons of the gun maybe, and we'll just see where it goes. Stick with me. If you've watched any gun review videos on the internet at all, you'll know that all gun reviewers have sensitive necks and they require lots of scarves of different varieties. They call them different names, but they're all scarves. Like I said, Remington 870 12 gauge. It chambers 2 3/4 inch shells or 3-inch shells. I have 2 3/4 inch buckshot on it right now that are Hornady. This is a Velcro on side saddle, and the idea is that once you run this one dry, you peel it, throw it off of the gun, and then you pull another one out and you can stick it on the side of the gun. Up here I have a Kydex slug caddy that I made. I don't have anything on this side as of right now. I'd like a flashlight eventually, that's why that light mount is there. I took some black fingernail polish of my wife's and did some color fill on the Magpul logo on the MOE. I used white. I used white on the shotgun barrel, which looks pretty cool, and then black on that side also. Down here, just some more color fill. It's a fun way to kind of give it a two-tone detailed look without spending any money really. Just some fingernail polish is pretty durable stuff, and it gets down in there and you use alcohol to wipe the surface polish off, and then the lows stay filled. The Remington 870 does not have an ambidextrous tang mounted safety like the Mossbergs do. It's just got a trigger mounted safety right here. I happen to be left-handed, so I've had to kind of recreate ways to use this as of right now. I think they make left-handed trigger groups that I need to get a hold of, but I haven't been able to find one for sale. I can still use these safe shooting methods that people employ with handguns on my shotgun if I don't want to utilize the safety as often as maybe some people think I should. But eventually I'd like to have a functioning left-handed safety. If you're not familiar with them at all and you're looking for a long gun to get into, you can hunt with these. You can use them for personal defense in your home, or if you want a vehicle gun. So they make a really cool multi-purpose weapon if you're on a one-gun budget. I recommend a 12 or 20 gauge even shotgun. 20 gauge is still a chunk of lead you can do a lot of things with. Most shotguns, I think some of the brand new ones do have a fall safety, but most shotguns, especially older ones, do not have a fall safety, so you don't want to store it with a round in the chamber a lot of times. If it's very stable or if it's in a safe, you can, and it'll be ready to go faster. If you're traveling with it in a vehicle, like law enforcement officers, they don't keep a round in the chamber for that purpose. And I've seen videos that you can find online also where the gun falls over and goes off because there's not the safeties built in to prevent that, like a lot of other firearms. As far as ergonomics, the Magpul stock is really awesome. It's a mixture between a pistol grip and a traditional stock. I don't like the straight down pistol grips and kind of the angle they put my hand in when there's a stock coming off the top of them, but I really like this Magpul stock get up. It's adjustable, so you can put more of these spacers in the actual stock and increase length of pull. Loading and unloading shotguns, for the most part, is all very similar. Most of the time you can load one in the chamber and close it and it's ready to fire, and then you can load syringe style into the magazine tube, which is located under the barrel here. To unload it, similarly, you can cycle the weapon continuously until all rounds have been ejected out, or you can make sure your pump is in the rearward position and you actually depress the springs inside that are retaining the shells and take them out this way. By doing that, you don't have to chamber any rounds during the unloading process. You don't have to cycle the gun fully and end up with a loaded round in front of a loaded hammer. There are some techniques for competitive shooters especially, and certain equipment that allows you to grasp 2 shells off of your belt at one time, and then basically you get the shotgun in your workspace and you stab and load 2 shells at one time. Under stress, you're probably better off just loading one at a time. That way if you drop one, it's gone instead of 2 gone, and then you're back ready to kill zombies, Nazis, or something. Okay, so now that we've kind of talked about the features, we'll talk about the kind of pros and cons of a shotgun. We'll start with the easiest one. That's definitely kind of a con, is capacity. This gun with an extended magazine tube holds 6 rounds, and then if you had one in the chamber, so 7 on tap if it's fully loaded, and then you have to start the reloading process. Most shotgun strategies involve shooting and reloading incrementally in order to keep the gun from going completely dry and avoiding a from empty reload. So an example being, you shoot 2, utilize cover, and reload a round or 2 as you can throughout a fight, and then get back in it. That way you're remaining relatively topped off. Compared to 30 rounds in a magazine, 20 rounds in a magazine, even 10 rounds in a box magazine, that's much easier to reload, is a definite advantage over capacity and reloadability of a shotgun. Some other cons is fully loaded and with the extra ammunition on the side, it becomes a heavy weapon to huff around. So you're definitely going to want a sling. I recommend you get a sling anyways. If it's a home defense gun, you want to strap it to you. Due to the fact that homes are oftentimes close quarters, and when you come around a corner, someone grabs onto it, they're not going to take it away from you if it's attached to your body. So slings are always good. Another perceived con that isn't really a con is inaccuracy of a shotgun. I just haven't found that to be a case. There's definitely a range limitation due to the aerodynamics of the rounds and the different ammunition that you shoot. But with a rifled slug, for instance, in a smooth bore barrel, I have no doubt you can go 150, 200 yards and engage something that needs shooting. The sighting system is obviously kind of rudimentary. It's just a bead sight that you set on the back here and line those up and pull the trigger. But I have no problem, especially just at 100 yards, hitting a relatively small target repeatedly. So you can do it with the right practice. When you shoot a shotgun, it does take time for the ammunition to kind of work the way it's designed to and spread out over a distance. So in a home environment, you're not spraying a wall-sized pattern across the room on a bad guy, so you do need to aim the weapon just like you would a rifle or a handgun, because by the time it makes contact with wherever it's hitting inside of a house, your pattern really is only the size of a big fat bullet. The perception that it's unnecessary to use the sight on a shotgun, it's definitely 100% necessary to aim a shotgun and to anticipate a small group, especially within a building. Another pro, as Jerry Miculek says, the horsepower of these babies. It's quite a chunk of lead that hits something whenever it does hit. 8 near 9mm rounds is some serious firepower. A slug, in most cases, is an entire 1 ounce of lead coming out of a long gun velocity barrel and impacting with some serious force. So the firepower on one of these little street howitzers is a big advantage, I think, to a lot of people when it comes to owning and using a shotgun. You can kill a deer very easily with a 12 gauge shotgun or even a 20 gauge shotgun, and you can stop most anything else that needs stopping with an ounce of lead. If you wanted to mount a red dot on one of these, it's definitely encouraged. There are lots of aftermarket parts like I have here to customize your shotgun both for your preference in looks and in comfort. No doubt I think these things look awesome, but they really are ergonomically superior to just a traditional synthetic or wood stock. This has little lips on it that grab your hand or whatever you want to rack the gun on and really allows you to operate it. If you have a swelled casing inside after you shoot, you can really yank that thing open and get it out of there, no issues. And then there's one of the biggest pros of all with a 12 gauge shotgun. A Remington 870, a Mossberg, anything like that, a pump action shotgun, it'll be $350 to $400, I'm pretty sure. So the cost is a huge advantage in getting performance if you're on a budget. So $600 even on the high end compared to $1,100 on and getting into a minimalistic AR-15 with what I consider appropriate amenities like dust covers and everything like that. It's hard to compare with the affordability of a 12 gauge shotgun. So alright guys, those are my thoughts. I highly recommend a shotgun. I also recommend other long guns. A rifle, for example, has a lot of pros and very few cons. But if you want an overall kind of do everything gun, fun, hunting, maybe a home defense gun or a travel defense gun like in a truck, the shotgun is a cool deal to go with. If you have any questions about my gun or any comments about my gun or just any questions for me in general, I'd love to answer them, so you can post them down below. Thank you for stopping by and watching my video. I'm an American and look forward to getting more up soon.